Hey everybody, welcome back to the Coleman's Theater at the Rotary Arts Center. I'm Aley. I'm here today with a very special guest and wearer of many hats in the arts and culture community on the west coast of Newfoundland, Sarah Thompson. Thanks for being with me here today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
Yeah, we're just having a little chat here today about some cool stuff going on, mostly in theater. I mean, you do a lot. The introduction might take as long as an interview would. So
I have this weird moment when people ask me for my bio, where I tell them that if you've got 2 pages, we can put my bio in, but otherwise, that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, so I've seen you directing, I've seen you acting, I've seen you do drag performances here. I know you've written some books. You started a theater company. So a huge, just a huge influence in the art scene here. Like, I feel like I see your name attached to so much stuff in theater. So thank you for, sort of uplifting the theater community of Newfoundland. Are you from Newfoundland?
I am, yeah. I'm actually from Grand Falls, Windsor.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I found myself here on the West Coast where it is theater. This community is theater, and it's hard not to get involved in it when you walk into a place that is so driven by it and loves it so much that
Totally.
you just want to find a way to be involved and to share that joy that people in this place get from the theater community.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, yeah, it's so, we're very lucky to have, the university, but also various things happening. It seems like the West Coast theater scene is one of the bigger ones I've seen in Canada in terms of per capita, I guess.
Yeah, it's very, very thriving here, and there's so many people who just want to be involved and just get the joy, just even coming out to see different types of things. So the more different types of productions and the more different kinds of shows and the more different types of people we can get involved, the better it is to just brighten that community even more than it already is.
Totally, yeah. And sort of on that note, I know that maybe, was it 3 years ago, you started the company that is written on your shirt, the New Found Family Drama Company.
Yeah, so I was looking for a way to bring something new and interesting to Corner Brook. One of the biggest complaints I've always heard about this area is that tourists don't stay here because there's not a lot to do in the summertime. They come in the winter, they want to go skiing, they want to see what we have to offer wintertime. Summertime, we're kind of a drive-through community.
Right.
So people who were stopping here couldn't find something that they wanted to do that was different or fun or interesting. So I thought, well, what this place probably needs is a dinner theater.
Totally.
So I decided that I would gather up some friends who I begged and pleaded with to come be involved for the first year. And I wrote a show in a very short period of time and threw together a company with the idea of getting something a little bit different in terms of dinner theater as well. So we like to provide a gourmet meal. So we have a wonderful chef who created our menu so that it's not what you get at a lot of places. It's not going to be that soggy piece of fish or your stuffed chicken breast. You're going to get something a little bit different from us.
Cool.
But also you're going to get a fresh new show because it's, again, written about the area and for the people of the area to find some humor in all the things that we all struggle with all the time. Little things like even this week, I heard a number of people who've asked me, how come I can't find Captain Cook's Lookout? And it's true. It's a real problem. Like, you follow the sign, and then where do I go now? So it's one of the jokes we make in the show as well.
Nice.
Like, how do you get there? Well, hang on now, let me tell you.
There's so many things like that. There's there's the Man in the Mountain, but then there's the Man in the Mountain hiking trail, which is basically impossible to find. And then there's this hike in Cowhead where all the areas of the hike have different names, but the names are like Big Hill, Little Hill. So if you Google it,
you're never going to find it.
Yeah.
Right? Even still, I've been here 10 years now, and what I call the Gorge Trail, I've been told, is not the Gorge Trail at all.
Oh.
So it's one of those things where you think you've finally got it figured out, but you don't. So it's nice to just make fun of yourselves a little bit in terms of, if you haven't lived here your whole life, you've got a different idea of what something is. We make a lot of jokes. People love the joke about it's in the old Canadian Tire building.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and for the life of me, I have no idea what the old Canadian Tire building is, but everybody else seems to know. So
it's a classic.
right,
it's
it is.
Corner
And
Brook
there's a number of
centric.
places in town like that, and we make a few jokes about how all the locals will give you directions like that. But it's not that easy if you're not from here, because you weren't here when it was Canadian Tire, so
Exactly.
you have no idea.
The cartography of a history of various businesses that move in and out of a building is not something that
Yeah.
comes like there's no intuitive way to understand that unless you're literally here.
From the place, yeah. So we like to poke a little bit of fun at ourselves that it's hard to do that, and we play a lot of great music during the show. It's all doo-wop music, so you're getting the girl groups, you get the Supremes and the Ronettes, and we're doing some Bobby Darin this year, so if you're a fan of Dream Lover, then this is going to be a good show for you.
Last year you did a lot of, there was quite a bit of Dolly Parton, I think, wasn't there?
Yeah, so last
That's
year we
awesome.
actually focused on country music. Yeah, we did the Ladies of Country.
Right.
And Dolly was a big focus of that. And we actually had a young fella, James Squires, sang all the Dolly Parton.
Yeah.
So it's a very different take on Dolly when you do that, right? So we like
awesome.
to mix that up a little bit as well.
Totally.
We got a big focus on Roger Miller for this year as well. So if you're fans of the folky country stuff, then this is also for you, yeah.
That's great. Yeah, I mean, I went to, so it's called Leroy's Diner.
It's called Leroy's Diner, yeah.
And so this year, it's a different show. There's different music, but it's sort of under the umbrella of Leroy's Diner.
Yeah, absolutely. So when I started the company, we started to realize that our very first show was called Leroy's Diner, and people took that as what they went to. They didn't come to the Newfound Family Drama Company. They came to see Leroy's Diner.
Yeah.
So we took that as our brand, and moving forward, then I set all the shows in Leroy's Diner. So it's the same cast of characters that are now teamed up to try to keep the diner going. And in this case, they're holding a grand reopening this year to get things back on their feet. And they've invited all these people to come out to see a band that's coming in from, that's supposed to be a local band that can't get there. They think they've forgotten about dessert. There's all kinds of whatever can go wrong goes wrong for the
Calamity
crowd.
show,
And
kinda.
yeah.
Cool.
And in the meantime, they do their best to try to pull together some entertainment for the evening. And a big part of it is the diner owner has written a skit about the history of the city, and it's so you learn a little bit of factual information about Corner Brook as well while you're at it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know it's a different show this year, but I was really struck last summer by the combo of sort of like the energy and the humor of the show. It's very sort of interactive in terms of you've got your cast, and they were also sort of integrating themselves into the audience in various ways as well. It was really fun.
Yeah, and even more so this year because with all of the restrictions as of right now no longer in place, we'll be able to interact even more with the people in the audience. So it's a fully interactive show where you might be asked to get up and dance at some point, and you never know. So be prepared for anything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I recommend, like last year, Mom and I went to it last year, and I was like, well, this is so cool. It's like a very throwback, like almost anachronistic space where you're like suddenly transported to the past. I mean, the actual space itself feels that way. You're not just walking into a room in a building. It's like what is the space that you're doing?
So we operate out of the Elks Lodge.
Yes,
We've been fortunate enough to partner with them. They allow us to rent their space for their kitchen use and for the hall space and things, and they're just wonderful to us. I can't say enough about them. They also do a lot of great things in the community, and I should put that out there as well. The Elks are always looking for people to come and join the Elks, and even more so now that they would love to have people volunteer to help out with their charity programs and stuff. So if you have some time and you want to be an Elks Lodge member, get in touch with them and join them. It's a great charity.
Is that, forgive me for my, I don't know much about them, but is it kind of like a Legion? Is that the... No,
so the Royal Canadian Legion is more about veterans.
Yes.
So the Elks is more like, and it's not really like, but more akin to like the Shriners.
Okay.
So like that kind of an organization where they do a lot of charity work and they raise funds for different charities, children's charities mostly.
Oh, that's really nice.
So it's a great organization, and with all of those organizations these days, their membership is getting older. Don't see a lot of young people joining those organizations, but there are a lot of young people I know in this community that love to volunteer and love to give their time, and this is a great opportunity to do that.
That's actually great to know, because I find there's so much community involvement in Corner Brook, and people are so sort of readily available for to volunteer that sometimes I've been on lists like to volunteer where they're like, we already have enough, but we'll call you if we need someone. So it's good to know, because the Elks Lodge is tucked away a bit, like kind kind of up Elizabeth Street? Is that?
So it's on Carmen Avenue. It's
Carmen
at
Avenue,
the
yeah.
intersection by the Women's Center on Carmen Avenue. So, and they do a regular weekly bingo and those kinds of things as part of their fundraising efforts.
Right.
But yeah, it's a great organization to be a part of. So if like I say, if anyone out there has the time and is looking for a way to volunteer, it's a great group to join.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to ask you a couple more things about the show specifically, and then maybe usually I would start with the theater company and then get into the show, but I'm going to do the opposite today. Can you tell us sort of how people might be able to attend this show, where they could get tickets?
Yeah, absolutely. So we have our website, which is newfoundfamilydrama.com. Cool. You can go on there and book tickets directly and even pay online if you want to, or you can pay the night of the show. I can also be reached by phone, 689-3664, and I'll take your reservation right over the phone and get you all set up to come to the show.
It's very brave of you to put your phone number on the internet.
It's on the side of my truck, so if you want to find me, I'm not hard to reach.
It'd be like a Mac DeMarco situation where like hundreds of people just show up to your house and just hang out there all day long.
I would love that. Bring it on.
Okay, great, cool. And it's like through the summer, right? It's a couple nights a week?
So we do 2 to 3 nights a week, depending on the week. Usually it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. We do have some Friday shows in August.
Okay.
Try to keep it so that it's more accessible. Everybody here loves cabin country. They're all going to cabins on the weekend. So if we're doing them on a weeknight, there's no excuse to say you're at your cabin. You've still got lots of time to come see a show.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, it's awesome. I'll definitely be attending it this year. And it's a great, like we were talking the other day sort of about this, and you were saying about, you were talking about sort of the philosophy and like the part of the mandate of the company. Do you want to tell us a bit about that?
Sure, yeah. So a big part of the reason that I wanted to start this company is there are so many talented artists and theater professionals here in the Corner Brook region, on the West Coast in general, that have to leave to find work. In particular, if they want a summer job when they're in school, those kinds of things, they have to leave this area to do it. They can't just keep their apartment and just continue on with their lives. So a big part of my goal was to offer opportunities for people who are in theater school, a professional theater person, to be able to stay at home and have a job for this time period. So right now we have some kids on student grants that are actually in theater school right now. I believe there are 5 of them. Cool. So right now we're able to offer at least 5 full-time opportunities for the summer for theater students, and that was a big part of the goal for me. As an artist myself, I know that, you don't want to have the extra added expense of, especially like if your partner's here, to have now you have 2 rents because I have to go somewhere else to take a job for the summer in order to do that kind of thing. So for me, it's really important to give people a chance to stay home and still have the opportunities to work as an artist.
That's amazing, yeah. And like the talent of the people involved. I mean, last year, I assume it's some of the same people.
It is some of the same people, yeah.
Cool. Just the talent. I mean, you guys employ like the whole backline musicians and then also people in the sort of foreground. So it's really like live music. It's not like, oh, you turn on a tape and someone sings along, right? It's a full...
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So we have, this year will be a 4-piece band.
Cool. So
we generally have piano, guitar, and drums, which is really enough to get going. Our guitarist also plays bass and drums. So we have some incredibly talented people. My drummer also plays accordion this year. So a little secret out of the bag. And we're going to do some Newfoundland music as part of the show as well. So we have some incredibly talented people that can kind of put on a number of different hats and do a number of different roles. But yeah, it's all live music with our 3-piece band. This year I'm going to play saxophone for a couple of pieces.
You're going to play saxophone?
I am, yeah. Terrified.
Awesome.
But yeah, so it's just to add a little something to it, where we're doing the doo-wop, it's really nice to have that horn sound with it. Yeah. So we're just going to add that little bit in. And everybody's live singing, and everybody sings, and it's and everybody acts, including the band. So it's a great way to give people opportunities to show off how multifaceted their talents are.
Totally, yeah. And I think last summer I saw there was a mix of sort of, like you said, newer actors and more experienced ones. And I know there were some younger people involved who hadn't had that opportunity. So I can imagine how exciting that would be, for someone younger trying to break into the theater scene, and suddenly they not only get to be involved, but they have a full summer job.
Absolutely, and it's really nice too to watch the more seasoned veterans work alongside the younger soon-to-be professionals, because they have a lot of advice to offer, and they have a lot of encouragement and those kinds of things to bring to the rehearsal room to make sure that they feel comfortable as they go forward. So a big thing that I tell kids all the time when I work with them is, my goal is to never set you up to fail.
Yeah.
I'm never going to set you up to fail. The best thing I can do for you is help you succeed.
Yeah.
So whatever that takes to make you feel comfortable, to make sure that you're ready, that's what we're going to do, because that's the most important thing going forward for you, is to build that confidence and to be able to be that, to bring that to your performance.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
I love that. It's great to have that sort of safe space, especially with, like young people that are just, one bad experience can just really damage, one's approach, and just to have that support. I know, like, the theater community of young people in Corner Brook specifically, like, I teach English at Grenfell, so there's a big overlap with some theater students and then some of my students, and they're just like such a vibrant young community, and so like invested in sort of the ethics and the community element. I'm like, the kids are all right, like there's a really good vibe happening amongst at least those that I've met. So
yeah, absolutely. Awesome. And it's important for them to keep that joy, right? Yeah. To hold on to that joy, and especially if this is the way you want to see your life going forward, it's important, I think, especially when they're still in school, to have really positive, really fulfilling experiences in theater. Totally. And to understand that even if I have one bad experience, there are a lot of people out there who want me to succeed, who are in my corner, and who are going to help me move forward.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. And I guess that's sort of the general mandate of the Newfound Family Drama Company overall, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's kind of my personal rule when it comes to directing a show, is that it has to be a safe space. Everybody has to feel comfortable, and I will never set anyone up to fail.
Awesome. That's really lovely. I can't wait to see it. So if anyone, whoever's watching, if you want to get tickets, there's you can get them online. Leroys Diner. You can call Sarah directly. Also, I just sort of wanted to quickly ask you about, I know that you've got some books that just made their way to Corner Brook.
They did, yes. We just actually, they're now available at Kohl's in the mall. So I have 2 novels out currently.
2 novels.
Yeah, they're romance novels.
Cool. That's awesome.
Which everyone finds amazing, because no one looks at me and says, "Oh, you're a romance writer." But apparently that's what I decided to do. So so I wrote a couple of books. They're called The Love of Summer and The Love of Julia.
Nice.
And if all goes well before this year is out, there will be a third, which will be The Love of Someone. We're not sure yet.
Wow.
And that will finish out that series of books. But yeah, they're available at Kohl's or by contacting me also.
That's awesome. So if you want to read Sarah's writing, you can now get it at Kohl's. That's so cool. I'll definitely be reading. I think Mom actually has.
I think she does. Yeah.
Yeah. She was like, "I'll lend it to you." Yeah. So congrats on that. That's
Thank you. Yeah.
Super cool. Is there anything else you wanted to sort of bring in today, or are we kind of?
No, I think that's, if there's more you want to ask me about, you mentioned you might want to talk about the drag shows?
Yeah, actually, that's a good thing to bring up as well, because just sort of any I've been to some drag shows here that you were involved in. If you want to just kind of bring that up, like talk about that for a minute. I know that I didn't even know there was sort of a drag community in Corner Brook, so that was really exciting.
Yeah, it's one of those things that I kind of fell into by accident, because it's one of those things where your mother would ask you, if all of your friends jumped off the bridge, would you jump off the bridge? And I think in this case I jumped. So
you're like, yes, I would jump off.
I guess I would. It depends on how high that bridge is. In this case, I just had to put on some makeup, so I was okay, right?
Jump off the bridge, yeah.
So we've done a number of drag and burlesque shows here. Actually right here at the Rack, and it's just such a fabulous venue for that kind of thing. It's just a great space to work with, and the people here are so excellent to get along with in terms of organizing those things and getting them off the ground. So if you're looking for a venue for a show, call the Rack. Yeah. It's been an interesting experience. We've done 3 shows now, and
it's like a Halloween, a winter holiday one, and one other.
The first one was meant to be sort of meant to be a Valentine's type show, but everything was shut down. So we wound up doing that, I think, in April of last year. And I made a lot of fun of that because it was my first performance as a drag king, and so I did all the kings. So I Can't Wait to Be King from The Lion King, and transitioned myself into the King of Pop as Michael Jackson, and then came back to do Elvis as the King of Rock.
Awesome.
I love those little underlying things. So if you if you come see our Leroys Diner show this summer, there's some little hidden tidbits like that in the show as well, because I love a good inside joke.
Oh yeah.
So it's been a lot of fun to do those shows. We haven't got any new ones planned right now. Josh Connors is actually they usually organize those shows.
Cool.
So I'm just waiting for them to tell me that they want to do something else, and I'll pull out the bag of makeup and figure out which plaid shirt to wear this time. So it's always a good time and a lot of fun to be involved in something different like that and bring that kind of culture here as well. Because it's not just about theater; it's about culture.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, like I was shocked to St. John's last summer, and I guess Velvet opened a few years ago in St. John's, but it wasn't there when I lived there. And we were like, oh, there's a drag show, and then I was like, there's a lineup down the street around the corner, and I was like, wow, this was not a thing that was really prominent in Newfoundland. Like before I moved away, before I came back, we went to this drag show, and it was like not just the best drag show I've seen like in person, but possibly one of the best drag shows I've seen, including TV, better than anything I'd seen in Toronto. It was really remarkable. And then I saw this here as well, and I was like, Newfoundland has a really special kind of, I don't know, proclivity towards being amazing, having like a really great drag culture.
Absolutely, and a lot of it too is about the audience, and sometimes people forget that, but a big part of making a drag show feel the way that you're talking about and give you that feeling is how people react.
Yeah.
So having people come in who are willing to hoot and holler and say things during your performance and not be afraid to interact, because a drag show more so than anything is meant for you to be a part of it and to feel like you're involved in it. So it brings you into the performance more so than a lot of regular theater does. So it's a whole different way of seeing a performance, and a whole different way that you should feel when you walk away from it, and know that, okay, so you know me to see me. Actually, I got recognized as Les a few weeks ago, which was really strange for me because that's a new one.
Is that your drag king persona?
Yeah, cool. I'm Les B. Manley.
Okay, that's awesome.
So I was at the Pride Craft Fair, and someone came up to me and said, I've been wondering for a long time, how come I think I know you, and I can't figure out why I know you, and then suddenly I realized I don't know you, but I saw you as Les.
That's
and I was
amazing.
like, oh, okay.
Like,
this is a new one. But again, they had that same feeling that you're talking about when you walk away from a show like that, they felt like they were involved. And they felt like they knew me because they became a part of the show. So it's a great way to dive into that kind of culture too, is to come to a small venue like this and see a show with your local performers, because you're going to feel closer to it already. So it's a great experience for the people on stage too, to have the people in the audience who want to interact and want to take in that culture and be a part of it.
Totally, yeah, it was really fun. I mean, just like so much laughing, so much talent, just a really delightful. I think I saw 2 of those 3 shows, and like Mom and I were just there, like having a grand old time. So, yeah, everyone stay tuned. We don't know exactly when there will be another one, but it seems like they mostly happen here. So,
yeah, keep your eyes on the rack, and they'll let you know when we're gonna do something else.
I hate this saying keep your eyes peeled. I was about to say it, and I was like, that's a gross. What does that mean? Do you know what that means?
I don't think so.
Okay, well, if anyone wants to write in the comments if you know what keep your eyes peeled means, that would be informative and helpful. Thank you. So yeah, thank you so much for being here with me today.
Again, my pleasure.
Yeah, it's great chatting with you.
Yeah, you too.
And thanks for tuning in, everyone. Bye.